But basically, I did a market study. It's like, if there was the most popular question that I got asked, I don't know, 30 fucking speeches during TOCA
Yeah.
2049
What do you think of
was,
the cycle?
what's your view on the 4 year cycle? Are we
Yeah.
topping? Is this it? Da, da,
Yeah.
da, 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 right? So, okay, let me go back. I intrinsically believe, just like what you said, I don't think we're in the 4 year cycle. I think we are in a
Uh-huh.
cycle that lasts until it lasts. But okay, let's go back to think about, there's been 3 4 year cycles, right? 2009 to 2013, 2013 to 2017, 2017 to 2021, right? And if we take a look at, I try to make it as simple as possible and use the same chart in each 3 periods. And so I took a look at Fed funds rate, effective Fed funds rate. I created a US dollar credit index, a proxy, which is basically just other deposits and liabilities from the banking system in the United States, and reserves at the Fed. So that'll capture quantitative easing or quantitative tightening, and it'll capture bank credit growth, up or down. And then as a kicker, I said, well, you can't talk about the United States without China because they're kind of interlocked, and they either complement each other or go in opposite directions. And so, I just pulled a Bloomberg credit 12 months change credit impulse index. And so if we take a look at the first cycle, we have essentially the genesis of Bitcoin, which is, I believe, a reaction to the response of the United States to the global financial crisis. I don't believe it's a coincidence that it was published on, the 3rd of January, 2009, right after Ben Bernanke announced quantitative easing, Infinity or One, TARP, all that kind of stuff, right? At the same time, China did its part, and they went on the largest expansion of infrastructure credit fuel growth in its history. And you'll see the chart. And so basically, you have yuan and dollar credit being issued ad infinitum in 2009. That sort of catches up with the Bitcoin price by late 2013, and we get that $1,000 or $1,400, whatever you want to call it, peak right before MTGOX imploded. You'll see in 2013 that credit growth rolls over a bit. You have the taper tantrum in the United States in mid 2013, which finally catches up with credit growth. In China, they were not growing credit as fast as they were. So the rate of it, it decelerated, even though it was still growing. The second derivative was deceleration. And so that popped the first crypto bubble. Then we moved to 2017 bubble, the ICO bubble. And in that instance, you had China leading the way, where they went on a massive credit expansion in 2015, which caused a high in the Shanghai stock market, a massive devaluation of yuan in August of 2015. And this sort of brought Bitcoin out of its doldrums. And that started the 2017 ICO rally. But the United States is going in the opposite direction. Fed funds was actually increasing once we get into 2017, and credit growth was falling. And so finally that caught up with Bitcoin, because you can't really escape the time value of money. No, nobody can. And the bubble pops in 2017 by the end of 2017. Then we get the third bubble, or whatever you want to call it, the COVID response. Obviously, we know what that story was all about. That was stimulus checks in the United States. China was very circumspect in the amount of money it issued, but again, its credit growth increased. And by late 2021, we had the Fed talking about how it was going to restrain its balance sheet, increase interest rates due to inflation. And pretty predictably, Bitcoin peaked in November, right around the time when everyone expected the Fed to start on a tightening cycle. And now we're in the current cycle. And basically this cycle has been about the reverse repo program, which was the $2.5 trillion that bad girl Yellen injected into the markets starting in 2022. And that has basically run out until now. And so if you're a proponent of this theory of, okay, for your cycle, you would say, oh, well, take a look, reverse repo at zero, there's no more liquidity. But the Fed has started cutting rates. You have Trump and Besson talking about how they want to run the economy hot, which basically means either the Fed prints money or the banking system prints money. I don't care which one. You can listen to speeches. They'll talk about either one interchangeably. They want to juice the housing market. I don't have the chart in front of me, but it's something like trillions of dollars of home equity that is basically sitting dormant on the balance sheet of the American public and their housing market. And Trump is going to lower mortgage rates. However he does it, there's various ways to do it, to unlock that money to then go into financial markets or buy a house, buy a car, but whatever. Trump is talking about stimulus checks. China, which has been in essentially on and off deflation in terms of credit growth over the last few years, is making noise that they want to revitalize the housing market. Will it be as crazy as 2015? No, but it won't be as bad as it's been post COVID. So this cycle is different than the last three. If you want to take a look at Chinese credit and US credit, which leads me to say there is no 4-year cycle, at least right now. And so we are in sort of a extended cycle. We're going to call it New World Order, change in, trade situation, whatever, right? And so I am of the opinion that this cycle ends when the Trump administration ends, because it'll be a reaction against Trump, whether you like it or not, doesn't really matter. And, that's a 2028, late 2027 story when the rhetoric of the opposing Team Blue Democrats starts to cause questions in investors' minds. Oh, what if they win? And therefore, what if things change? Therefore, I should take some chips off the table. So that's my guiding light, and 5-minute plug for this essay that'll come out some in a few days.
Well, I thought that was very great. Tom, what's your read on the situation? Do you like what Arthur just said? Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I mean, I think Arthur put it really well. I think he kind of put a lot of pieces together for people. And maybe the only thing I'd add is two things. One is it's very evident in sentiment because, like, in 2017, there was a lot more exuberance. In 2021 too, both in equities and crypto. I think because of Trump and the divisiveness that he is, and also because of the swoon we had in stocks in February to April, that sentiment's still really muted. I mean, we see that on the fund strat side. And I guess the second thing I'd add is, I think he's spot on that, crypto needs to really make overtures to both sides of the political side over the next few years, because we don't want a change in administration to result in like a complete flip in actually the way crypto is regulated. I think it's actually a really important policy thing he's flagging.
Yeah, we've been big proponents of that at Bankless, is that crypto is technology, not partisan.